Yeah, right. It's about 20 to 5 in the morning. I've had coffee last at probably 8 or 9 yesterday. So usually if that happens, I'm up fairly late. And here we are. So like if you have insomnia, it's better if you do something like, protect your nuts and bolts here. Fap on. I'm gonna do this up. Okay. Since we're doing an art talk, this is my charcoal book. And obviously I just finished. I got some random stuff in here. Much older. This is very referential to a couple of things. There's some other not so good drawings in here, which would be considered embarrassing to other people. But what do I care? Art is all a process. It's always learning something and daring to even bother. Okay. So that was done in that one there is 2007. Or this silliness here. Like, what does it matter? It's a sketch. They're sketchbooks, right? And that was oil pastels. I don't have them anymore. I don't think, or somewhere else. I learned a lot of these mediums in high school at CCH. Then there's just like random stuff. Say something like that. Bullet with a butterfly wings. And I don't remember when this one was done. Probably around the same time that I did the robot. I am programmed to love zero with all the ones and zeros behind it. Here's a car. It's a more classical. This is all oil pastels here. Eat your heart out there, frickin' Kaiser. Fuck you, buddy. There's a little bit of friendly rivalry between me and the Kaiser. He hasn't drawn that Mustang aircraft yet, but he's going to. There's other random stuff here. I don't know. Right? There's just so many different things to do with different mediums. And like the Starburst here. Again, that's 2007. And as an outsider in the art community, as it always is, so there we got a Focke-Wulf 190 here. Misproportioned for certain, but it's all learning. What does it matter in the end? The more unique an artwork is, the better. Like Goldeneye. And then there's some familiar imagery here to some of you. This book is rebelling on me right now. But little landscape. And this is his compatriot here. And then the more recent one, which I put online on Instagram. So with the pencils here. See, there's me. And Peterson. So don't be discouraged, because obviously it's taken me my entire life to get to this point, and I have suffered a lot at the hands of other people because of what I am and what I represent. You see, there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people think they know what life is, but you don't know what life is. You just do what you're told. In this book here, I don't know when I bought this, but this was only $13 at the time. So it doesn't really take much to get started. It's just time. Art costs time. And it's irreplaceable. Now, since the Emily Carr thing, I was mentioning that, and we're doing an art talk. This is one of the art history textbooks that I have. I have a whole series of individual artist books buried at the bottom of that tote over there, where there should be actually a bookshelf. So again, I'm going to look up Emily Carr in here. This is a full survey, right? You imagine how thick of a volume this is. How long it took to put this together. I have Wikipedia in my hands right here. What do I need Wikipedia for? It's inaccurate. This was published. Let's see. This was published in, this edition was 2005, okay? So before all of this silliness that came through the culture, because 2005 through 2007 was when I was at Trent. And, obviously I started to see the sweeping changes of the culture with the LGBTQs, becoming more prevalent and more popular. I would say in the late '90s with with Ellen, her being a pioneer in that regard, but then it going completely off the rails, or whatever that gay show. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And obviously seeing and being affected by directly in cadets, with starting to see preferential treatment towards people of this inclination, and the appearance or my first meeting of a transgender person in 2004, and then me heading up the mural for the Sunset Parade. And obviously there was some members of the other lifestyle that were not very happy, and so on and so forth, but that's more divulging of personal information. Let's see. This is interesting. Okay, so I flipped to this. This is in the introduction. And since we're doing art talk, fuck it, right? In some respects, the history of art is comparable with that of literature. There is continuity and change in both, progressive improvements in neither. Both are punctuated by works that seem to transcend circumstantial limitations with a timeless appeal independent of, and sometimes at odds with, the intention of their creators. The history of art is, however, dependent on the physical survival of objects, and their survival has depended on a number of factors, as has their destruction. Religious images have been destroyed in order to subvert the beliefs of their devotees by early Christians in the Roman Empire, by Muslims in India, by Spaniards in Central America, by Protestants in Northern Europe, by 19th century missionaries in Africa and Polynesia, and most recently by the Red Guards of the Cultural Revolution in China, whose appalling zeal is an indication of the importance still accorded to the visual arts, for strictly non-aesthetic reasons, of course. Yet in some places, works of art have been preserved in private collections and later public museums for their artistic excellence. It is no coincidence that only where this has occurred have histories of art been written. They marginalize some works and totally exclude many more in order to focus attention on the few which their authors hold up as models for later generations of artists to emulate, or even in some ways to improve on, therefore, or thereby establishing new canons of exemplars. Such canonical works provide the skeleton for a history of art with its continuities and changes, revivals of past styles, and experiments with new techniques through what is omitted or underplayed may sometimes seem today to be equal, if not greater, interest. So in other words, art is history. And as with every new cultural wave or new movement, the new dominance tries to do away with the markers of the old world so as to exert power, and destruction in its own way as an action is propaganda. So, again, weaponized art and history of propaganda, the history of art itself, it is humanity. Okay, I'm gonna get back to some sort of glossary. It's probably gonna be at the back here. Here, look her up. I just saw Koons, I think, in there. 20th century art. There's a feminist thing. That's Julia Chicago, The Dinner Party in 1979. Interesting, since we're in Women's Day here. Okay, let's see. Yes, books are less convenient, but you know what? There's nothing like having the information in your hands. Lanolin. I don't even think this one has 1900. Okay. There's a figure descending down the stairs. Nude descending. There's Duchamp, which I mentioned in another video. there's architecture. Suprematism, de style, futurism, cubism. There we go. And Matisse, Fauves and expressionism. Getting a little German expressionism. Kandinsky, Kandinsky. Picasso. I have a whole book on from Picasso, and it's in Spanish. It was given to me as a gift from one of our exchange students from the museum. Okay, no, this doesn't really cover Canadian art. So we'll just have to go to Wikipedia. Start from there. But don't stay there. Okay, so Emily Carr University, I applied there. I didn't get in. Not that it matters anymore. Okay, let's go to the Canadian Encyclopedia here. But she really wasn't, well, they don't consider her to be part of it. Is independent. She's along for the ride, same like Thompson, but she didn't fall in line with the same style. So they were trying to. Oh, here's the heritage moment.
Behold Emily Carr, painter, about to encounter the force that will consume her life.
How tightly they sealed their secrets from me, humble and pleading before the great trees, awaiting the invitation from the Spirit to come meet me halfway. Nothing is still there, everything is alive. At last,
I'm doing something.
Yeah, I'm up now. Okay, so it's kind of hard.
the mythic eye of the forest.
Seldom able to live by her brush, before she died in 1945, Emily Carr was in the first rank of Canadian painters.
This is my country. What I have to express is here, and I love it. Amen.
I hate being interrupted. It's on the internet now. I'm not restarting this video. No! The dog. I gotta take her out today. Okay. Get back head back in the game. All right. So this was published June 23rd, 2013. Last edited June 22nd of last year, 2022. Okay, Emily Carr, painter, writer, born 13th December 1871 in Victoria, BC, died 2nd of March 1945 in Victoria, along with Tom Thompson, the Group of Seven, and David Milne. Emily Carr was one of the preeminent Canadian painters of the first half of the 20th century and perhaps the most original. She was also one of the only major female artists of that period in either North America or Europe. Her bold, almost hallucinatory works depict nature as a furious vortex of organic growth. They have also been criticized as appropriations of indigenous culture. Uh, insufferable, absolutely insufferable. Carr was also a celebrated author. Clee Wick, a collection of short stories based on her experiences with indigenous people, won a Governor General's Literary Award in 1941. The cultural appropriations stuff, like I said, it's so insufferable. Uh, because at the time, you got to think about, you don't impose current cultural values upon the past. You just don't do it. It doesn't. Just tired of this crap. This usurping and this subjective subjectivity is cultural Marxism. That's what it comes down to. They were like, if she was to think about it, if she's seeing this stuff for the first time, she's not even thinking about the context, or even the possibility of her artwork lasting more than 200 years or whatever. Even though artists are very smart, we understand the permanence and the value of what we make. But a very different attitude towards life in that time, the turn of the 19th century, well, 20th century. We're in the 21st now. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, anyways. So a little more about Emily Carr. This again is from the Canadian Encyclopedia. Carr's parents were British immigrants. They settled in the small provincial town of Victoria. Her father became a successful merchant. The second youngest of 9 children, Carr grew up with a brother and 4 older sisters. It was a disciplined and orderly household where English manners and values were maintained. Carr had no serious artistic role models growing up, but enjoyed drawing as a child. Okay. She went to England in 1899. Radical experiments in Cubism and Fauvism, then being undertaken by Pablo Picasso, George Braque, Henri Matisse, and others in Paris, escaped her. But she developed her own bold, colorful, post-impressionist style of painting and returned to Victoria in 1912. Turns out I don't know very much. Don't ever listen to me. I know nothing. Okay. There's Big Raven. She broke through when she was 57 years old. So that just goes to show that, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something, or how good you are at something. You just have to keep trying. You don't ever give up on it, because sooner or later it'll happen for you. You never give up on who or what you love. And I love art. Okay, so Carr was invited to participate in an exhibition and attended the opening in November 1927. Her early work on indigenous subjects was discovered by an ethnologist. She met Lauren Harris and other members of the Group of 7, then leading art group in English Canada. And they welcomed her into their company as an artist of their own stature. So correct myself there. The paintings of the rugged landscape of Northern Ontario impressed her greatly, as did their avowed intentions to produce a distinctly Canadian art style. She quickly snapped out of her feelings of artistic isolation and returned to painting with renewed ambition. So I'll probably cartoon Emily Carr. She deserves that, and topical since we're in Women's Month. Uh, and she started writing in 37. And then the thing that so I did a little short, a reel on Instagram about the maple syrup incident. And this has to do with climatology or climate activists. This climate change thing, which again, I'll get into it with the HOP, but you know, this is seriously frustrating. Because like this is, it's an art crime when you try to destroy art, and then of course they're copycats of Just Stop Oil, hands glued to the wall under the sunflowers. They threw tomato soup as like an Andy Warhol commentary thing, trying to do performance art. Um, but like young women, I forgive them for they do not know what they're doing. But it's just like, there she goes. Incredible. And like the reason why I'm very unhappy about the tomato soup thing, which happened on October 14th, 2022, with the sunflowers. And let's see. Well, that was the published date, October 14th. Then this one, the copycat, was November 13th. And it's like, why would the Stumpson Sky? I said Sky Blue Sky in the other one. Why would you do that to Emily Carr? This is why. This is like this stuff. I'm very disheartened, very disappointed, because like, you destroy history, and if we destroy history, then we have no idea where we're going. Stop fracking around. Yeah, really. If I'm going to say anything about the climate science, it's that a war on carbon is a war on people. And yeah, I put so much work into my own art, and then to see something like that, I empathize with the artist, even if they're dead. It's just so insufferable. That's enough.